Hi guys, good morning. It's the 23rd and it's Monday, which means there's a ton of stuff to do. Let's go over what's going to happen in the week. Now, you have a poetry unit on top of your Great Gatsby work. So if we take a look at our poetry unit first, you're going to see that it starts on week 12. Woot. Now, a good place to start is there is a set of notes. You're going to have to want to open these puppies up and at the same time open up Changing Point of View. There's a video right down here of me talking about what we're going to be doing. Now, the poetry is two pieces. One is called Avarice and one is called Money. If we take a look, made sure to put them multiple times throughout the classroom just in case you can't find them. Now, with Avarice, and we're taking a look at this one, it's very short, which is deceptive because there's a lot of emotions and a ton of tone going on in this piece. Am I going to read it to you? No. You're going to read it to yourself. Now, discovering tone when it comes to poetry is really difficult, and it's all about word choice. So what words does he choose to use? So to give you an idea, if we're going to look at our first stanza here, at 6 she chewed off the 7 porcelain buttons. It's really odd. He didn't say cut. She didn't use a tool. She used her teeth, which is almost like a desperation, like a Gollum type of thing to do. And then we take a look at down here. She weighed the peach in her hands until it rotted. So that tells us that she wanted to keep something until it literally was worth nothing, but still would not share. Then we get down to, the June bugs. Something that's dead, literally pinned to a corkboard that only her brother was interested in, but she decided to hide it from him, to keep it for herself. These things all have a huge impact on how we're going to read this puppy. Now, be careful, because sometimes I'll ask you a question like, what are they trying to say? Are they just talking about a moment, or are they trying to say something? They're always trying to say something. I promise you, they're always trying to say something. Especially when you take a look at money. Money is deceptive in the fact that it's really long, and because it doesn't have normal stanzas like a regular poem, but looks like it's actually cut into paragraphs, which it's not. Some people sit there and say, oh, Miss Bard, this is just a short story. No, it's really not. You have to pay close attention. Be careful. Read between the lines. Remember, just like when Tom was talking to his dad, it's all about subtext. What are they actually saying? Give it a try. Remember, there's no shame in trying. If you fail, we'll talk about it. We'll do a discussion on Zoom and we will get back on track. But I need you to try. Now, again, that's Money and Avarice, both of which are going to be on your classroom. Now, we've got the notes, which is just a click off. Make sure that you say, yes, Ms. Barr looked at the notes. Then the Changing Point of View, which I think you're going to actually enjoy. There's a video to help explain what's going on. And for kicks and giggles, you're going to be writing 2 different points of view. So you're going to sit there and have first person point of view where you say I. We talked about your journals. And then you have the second point of view, which is going to be a third person looking in from the outside, and what did they see? Now, be careful that you do each one in the right section, because if you take a look, there's not many. Okay, so we have our first person, and then we have our third person, and we actually have the scenarios up here, if you'd be so kind. Now, be careful. Make sure you read the scenarios and that they match what you say. Do they have to be terribly long? No. Don't feel like you have to write a novel. If you guys want to stretch your little wings, though, please do. Now, up next, we have poetry versus tone, but we're not going to do that one first. We're going to do poetry first and analysis. Now, I put the 2 poems here, and then we have the poetry and analysis. I ask you a couple of questions that are a little bit leading, trying to help you guys get to where you need to be. Now, it says cite line number. Please do cite the line number or the paragraph number if we're going to be looking at money, because again, it's got that deceptive look of where it looks like a story, but it's not. So be very careful. Now, for kicks and giggles, if we finish all of this up, we're actually going to be finishing all of these wonderful standards here at the bottom. Up next, we have point of view and tone. We're going to be, again, looking at Money and Avarice, and we're going to look at their point of view and tone. Speaker's point of view, third person or first person, speaker's tone. Now, I'm going to give you a huge, fatty hint. Be careful. Look for descriptors. Look for personal pronouns. See which one is the speaker's point of view. Speaker's tone is all about their attitude. What do they really think about the subject? Now, be very careful. Select your words wisely. Now, everybody's going to ask me the same thing, which is, Ms. Blair, how long does it have to be? And I'm going to have to tell you, as long as it needs to be to answer the question. Don't ask me silly questions. No. You know better than that. Some of you guys are going to be extraordinarily brief, and that's okay. And some of you guys are going to take a little bit longer to explain what you mean. As long as you make yourself understood, I'm perfectly happy. Now, for kicks and giggles, after that, it's Gatsby Chapter 2, which Gatsby Chapter 2 is kind of odd. I'm just going to tell you now. A lot of people argue about what the influence of New York is on the story. New York, the city. So we're going to sit there and go, okay, once he goes into New York, how do things change? How do they stay the same? Who does he interact with? What in the heck happened at the end of the chapter? Now, believe me when I say Sparks Notes is not good enough on this puppy. Be careful. Know that I adore you. Be good, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.